the cradle to the grave, football borders on religion in the state of Alabama. This timeless phenomenon solidified some 70 years ago. It was during the Depression of 1929 and on into the 30s when the hopeless Alabama citizens looked with pride towards the great Crimson Tide teams. In this era, Wallace Wade and Frank Thomas won 4 national championships, soothing the desperate times. When America rebounded, Alabama football continued to be the toast of the upper crust. The state's doctors, lawyers, and bankers sent their children on to Tuscaloosa to be educated. Auburn University was an agricultural and engineering school, attracting the state's middle class. Auburn always felt it was being shunned by the University of Alabama followers, and Auburn knew the one place to gain respect from Tuscaloosa was on the football field. For the past 40 years, these social wars have been settled on a battleground in Birmingham. These two teams have met on the last weekend of their seasons to settle 364 days of impassioned arguments over who has the better team and the better way of life. When Alabama and Auburn play, the goal is to win, but the fear is of losing and having to tolerate your arch-rival fans and their incessant torture for an entire year. People said it would never happen. Today, it will happen. Second-ranked Alabama against 11th-ranked Auburn. In Auburn for the first time ever. A full spectrum of football heroes, from Bear Bryant to Bo Jackson, have been a part of this glorious series, yet many of them never would have believed that this game would one day shift to this site. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Jim Nantz, and welcome to the Southern Plains of Alabama, where for the first time ever, the Alabama Crimson Tide comes in to challenge the Auburn Tigers. Clearly today, the objective for these teams is to win the state title, but there is certainly much more at stake than just that. In fact, by the end of the day, the Southeastern Conference title will be finalized, as will the conference representative in the Sugar Bowl in New Orleans. Now, Alabama can win the conference outright and go into New Orleans undefeated with a victory today. However, Auburn could spoil those plans, and we could even see a 3-way tie by the end of the day if Tennessee can claim victory against Vanderbilt. Now, the national championship picture is also in focus here. The Crimson Tide ranks 2nd in the country, however, obviously needing a victory today to keep any hopes at all alive of winning the national championship. Now, yesterday, Alabama made its first journey ever from Tuscaloosa to Auburn, and many of the fans tagged along. They went through the towns of Centerville and Maplesville. They all came. 160 miles they traveled to a new world. Meanwhile, here at Auburn, all week it's been a celebration. Pep rallies and parades, and a time for everyone on both sides of this rivalry to reflect.
It is a huge recruiting game. It's for bragging rights. It's your basic way of life in the South.
The rivalry between Auburn and Alabama is the most intense football rivalry I've ever seen or have been around.
I mean, they are so fiercely loyal. They'll give their thumbs on a Saturday. Yet they're not mean. They're not mean. They'll take their lumps and take their licks and go home and growl about it for a year, and then come back the next year and yell louder.
Tomorrow, half the state is going to be ecstatic, and the other half of the state is going to ruin their life.
Alabama is undefeated 10-0 right now. But if they don't beat Auburn, it's really not considered a winning season.
You know, like 98% of the people in the state, their lives revolve a great deal around either Auburn or Alabama football.
You better buckle your seatbelts because it's going to be a show to watch. You better tie your TV set down, but if you're going to stay at home just and watch it, because it just may jump right off the stand.
So there's your warning from Bo Jackson, the 1985 Heisman